Hey guys, welcome to today's video. I'm going to be unboxing some plant mail from Indonesia. I am very excited about this. I don't know what exactly is in here, but it came from Aroid Market. So let's see how the packaging is, because I'm really curious. That really makes a big difference on how the plants arrive. They are using the fluff, so that's good. So they've got the polyfill in here, which is excellent for shipping plants. Oh my gosh, I see roots. There's like really fat roots in here. Oh my goodness, I think we have an Anthurium. Wow, they have sent much more than what I was even thinking was gonna be coming. This is amazing. Oh my gosh, okay. All right, I'm trying not to tell you guys what they are until we're opening them, but goodness gracious. Okay. I'm having trouble breathing. Let me tuck this away. I'll save that because I like to reuse that stuff. And their cards say, "Thank you for trusting us. We hope you are satisfied with our products and services." So these were in the mail for about a week, and it'll be interesting to see, how they fared. They had to travel a long ways, and currently, as I'm filming this today, it is November. Oh, wow, okay. Look at that. Beautiful little baby. That is wonderful that they took the extra care to wrap up the newest little leaf there. Oh my gosh, it is beautiful too. It even has a new caterpillar right here. All right, so there's the newest leaf. It is still a little bit soft. Okay, so this is a philodendron hybrid. It's a cross between Philodendron melanochrysum and Philodendron gloriosum. So this is a Philodendron glorious, and it is absolutely stunning. It is so beautiful. Wow, those velvety leaves, what a beautiful plant. And it just has one leaf up here with a little bit of yellowing, but it might stay, So the plant looks beautiful. Now let's see what the roots are doing. And all the roots are wrapped in plastic, so let's see how those are. And I got sphagnum moss, which is just ever so slightly damp. So we've got one main node down at the bottom here that's rooted, so that's where all the roots are coming from. But we do have other nodes up here, so if we needed to root from a higher place, we can, so that's good. It's a very nice size. That is a very generous size. We're gonna do a quick root trimming, and I've got my fiskars. I'm just gonna sterilize those real quick. So here's the root system, and what I'm gonna do is basically trim off all of these smaller roots that are soft and dark, because those didn't make it. So I'm just stripping off any of the dark, soft, rotted parts of the roots. Get the end there, so that one's a little bit soft on the end. I'll just trim that. I just like to go through the roots right away, check everything, clean them up as best you can. So I've got it in the jar, so I'm gonna add some distilled water. So I'm gonna fill that all the way to the top. Sometimes I'll take some polyfill and just use that around the edge of the jar, around the plant stems. If any of them seem like they're pushing against the edge of the jar, just to kind of help prevent those stems from getting marked or marred. Okay, so we've got two nodes under the water there, and that's how I'm gonna be acclimating this one, or at least preparing it for getting potted up. Look at that next one. There is a gorgeous Anthurium in there. This is one of my favorite plants, and I actually have one already, but I have wanted another one so I can pollinate them. Holy moly, these leaves. Oh goodness, that is just stunning. So this is Anthurium, Clarinervium, and it says big size. So that was pretty exciting to see that. I was totally not expecting that, but now my little baby Clarinervium has a friend, and it's been blooming, and I've been wishing that I had another Clarinervium because I would like to make little Clarinervium babies. I want to pollinate them back and forth, and now it's got a friend. I'm so stoked. Oh my gosh, and every single leaf is gorgeous. That is absolutely beautiful. Oh man, okay. And the roots, those all look really good too. So they have them wrapped in the plastic. Look at that root system there. Those are massive roots, super chunky. like really chunky roots on that one. And so with anthuriums, normally, you know, you can see the roots, you can see pretty much right away what's going on with everything. So I'll just normally look through and see if there's anything that's like broken, because these roots they tend to be a little bit easier to break. They're not as flexible, so they'll normally just like break off and kind of be dangling. So I just look for any of those. Let's see. Okay, so it was this one here. I'm just gonna snip that one off. Actually, I want to cut it down a little bit lower and just see what's going on there. Yeah, it is a little bit bruised inside, so I'm just gonna take off that whole little root there. They look pretty good, so I think we're just gonna leave it like that. And I've got a jar. These Clarinerviums are such a joy to grow and to look at. They're just one of my all-time favorite plants. Okay, I've got a philodendron here. Let's check this one out. So this is Philodendron burle marx variegated. Oh, look at that little baby. Oh, that is adorable. What a sweet little plant baby. I love that. It is so cute. Okay, let's see what these roots look like. All right, so there's the roots. There's a couple little broken tips here, and so those got a little bit of rot. They're kind of desiccated there, so I'm just gonna trim those off real quick. Yeah, we're just gonna trim off the ends of those. That looks good. The rest of them all look really good. Yeah, it was just a few little dark tips that need to be trimmed off there. So this plant, since I trimmed off some of those fatter roots, I'm gonna go ahead and do a hydrogen peroxide soak with this before I just put it into straight water. So I'm just gonna add a little distilled water. So normally I will do about 2/3 water to 1/3 hydrogen peroxide. And that is the solution for allowing the roots to soak. So that way it can help prevent any infection and also helps clean any wounds that we cut. And I let that soak for a few minutes, well, anywhere from a few minutes to, 20 minutes. Okay, this next one is a little Anthurium. It looks like it's gonna be a really cute little baby. So this is Anthurium dorayaki hybrid. Let's see how, oh, it is so sweet. Oh, I swear, Anthurium babies are like the sweetest looking little plants. They are it's so adorable. I love it. Like, look at that. Look how cute. Oh, man. Okay, let's see this one's roots. Ooh, they're white and green, very fresh and healthy, gorgeous. This one has gorgeous roots. We don't really have to do anything with that one. That one is gonna go right into a jar. Yeah, we don't have to do anything to this one. It's just ready to go. I swear, Anthuriums, they just ship so well. This is one of the most adorable plants I've ever had. That is so darn cute. All right, I will set that little baby there. Okay, we did an Anthurium last. Now we're gonna do a philodendron. So let's open this baby. Ooh, oh, it is a velvety leaf philodendron. Oh my goodness. Wow, okay. Oh, it is gorgeous. Did I say what this was yet? This is Philodendron splendid, which is a cross between Philodendron melanochrysum and Philodendron varicosum. And wow, it makes a beautiful hybrid. There's a lot of nodes to work with here too. So I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, it'll be interesting to see what we've got going on here, because the roots are very, very fine on these. The roots on this actually remind me a lot of the melanochrysum, which makes me wonder what the varicosum roots are like. If you guys know what varicosum roots are like, let me know. Are they like super fine and spaghetti-like angel hair pasta? I'm gonna bring that water up actually way high because I want to get these nodes activated. So I'm gonna bring that all the way up to cover at least 3 nodes. And my plan is to root it from multiple nodes instead of just the one node down here. Okay, this next plant is an Alocasia, and this one, I have no idea what to expect. I've never owned one like this. Oh wow, those leaves are amazing. So this is Alocasia dragon scale. It's very textural too, but the foliage of these is just really striking. Oh, we've got some nice roots there. That rhizome is really fresh and clean and gorgeous looking, and it's got brand new baby roots coming out too. So it's got all these new little root starts coming out higher up on the rhizome. These all look gorgeous, healthy, beautiful, fresh, plump white roots. All right, so I got the water just up to where the newest roots are starting to poke out there. So just at the top of the rhizome. Okay, now this next plant, I have never owned anything from this genus. So this is gonna be a very first time growing a plant like this. This is Amydrium silver. Look at those gorgeous leaves, beautiful. Oh, we've got some nice white roots in there. Oh, they look good. Yeah, they look all white and healthy. Those arrived beautifully. I've heard of amedriums, but I've never tried growing one before, so that'll be a first for me. Hopefully I can keep it alive. Okay, this next one is an Aglaonema, and I've never grown one of these before. So, I mean, have I had one? I'm trying to think. I know I've looked at different varieties of them, but I don't think I've ever owned one. Okay, so this is Aglaonema pictum tricolor. Oh wow, they have like that green variegation kind of look. I see some white roots. Oh yeah, chunky white roots. Lovely. They are just so fresh and beautiful. Look at those leaves though, pretty wild, huh? Those are like a digital green camo or something. Really, really striking. All right, let's get you in there. Get you rehydrated. Actually, everyone looks pretty good. Like no one looks actually dehydrated. they all look really good. Aroid Market, would highly recommend A+. Okay, so everyone's in water, they're rehydrating, and they're gonna be going into the plant room now. Okay, next step is I bring the plants into the plant room and let them rehab in here for the next 24 to 48 hours, soaking in water. So I'll start grabbing them and moving them in here. I'm just gonna keep them on my desk. So the microclimate in our plant room here is 78 degrees Fahrenheit and 54% humidity, just to give you an idea. Okay, I'm very excited for these new additions, and when I come back, we're gonna be potting these up. So I will see you guys then. Okay, let's get started potting these plants up. So these came in on Thursday, and today is now Tuesday. I was gonna try to get to them over the weekend, but Michael and I were gone for the weekend. We went to Phoenix, and so now I'm late trying to get these babies potted up. Everyone is just looking good and rehydrated. Nice, fat, chunky roots looking good on the Clarinervium. And it has, oh my gosh, it's got its new little baby leaf, and it actually made it and is coming out. It's trying to come out right now. And I just mixed up some more climbing philodendron soil. So I kind of broke my aroid recipe up into different variations for the different types of plants. So crawling philodendrons are a little bit different than the climbing philodendrons. And then I have, you know, the anthurium mix, which is totally separate. So I kind of have just been splitting and experimenting with different variations of the mix. So the base is basically about 30% cocoa husk, chips and fiber. So not the peat, not the cocoa peat, just the chips and fiber, the more chunky fibrous pieces. And then about 30% coarse pumice, and then about 20% bark, pine bark, and then 10% horticultural charcoal and 10% worm castings. But yeah, I just want to kind of break down the soil components with you guys ahead of time, even though that is still in the experimental testing phase for the particular plants. I like to play with the soil. I like to play with plants. I like to just enjoy myself, and it's all an experiment, no stress. Just checking out different ways to grow plants. There's all kinds of different ways to grow plants, and it sure is fun getting to play with them. So for these first two plants, that's the soil mix I'm gonna be using, my philodendron climbing mix, a completely soilless mix, and hopefully you can get an idea of that chunky, light, airy texture. And it's that cocoa husk that has the capability of holding on to moisture. So they act like a little sponge. They can kind of wick that moisture up and just kind of hold on to it until the plant roots need it. So because we've got a very light root system here, you know, it's not robust, there's not a whole lot there. I want to pot this plant deeper and cover more nodes because I want this to become a more robust plant. I'm at least going to cover up past the second node here. I would like to get this third one in there. Okay, we've got the cocoa husk totem in there, and let's get this little baby down in here and see how deep we can pot it. So I've got the plant where it's at least gonna have that second node covered, and I think what I'm gonna do is just top it off with some moss so that other third node can start rooting down into it if it wants to. So I will do an update on these plants and let you guys know how they're liking the soil. And if I need to change anything, I always like to let you guys know that. I'm gonna water that in just a few minutes here, but let's pot up this Philodendron Splendid. So it's got a very small, very fine root system. So I pinched off a couple of those other roots that weren't looking so great, some of those longer ones, but I think these are gonna be okay. And also we have other nodes up here. So we've got another node here, right here, there, and then higher up here. So there's more to work with. I'm gonna try to pot it as deep as I can though, because I want to get as many nodes in the soil as possible. And then up here, I might air layer it. Well, I'll start with this pot here. I think this one's almost a 3-foot pole here. I think I wanna go this direction because the roots are kind of forming along the back there. This plant is gonna have to focus on making roots for a while though, because basically since it has almost no roots, it's gonna be rooting out in the soil, which will be interesting to see what happens. Okay, I've got my watering can and I'm just gonna add a couple drops of Super Thrive. And I'm using filtered water. So that Super Thrive is like a multivitamin for your plants, and it's also supposed to help with transplant shock. So hopefully it will give these little babies a good start. Okay, I've got some dry sphagnum moss here. I'm just gonna add a little water and let that get saturated. Okay, there we go. So I'm just gonna wring that out and I'm gonna use this as top dressing. Basically, I'm gonna try to lodge it right around the nodes here that are kind of exposed. Well, not kind of, they are fully exposed to the air. All right, so I've got this one top dressed with moss, and basically I just wanna have it all the way around that node in case that would like to start growing some roots. That would be awesome. So we're kind of air layering in a way, but also kind of just top dressing. I'm gonna cover that whole node there. All right, now I will grab a piece of plastic and use it for air layering on this one. So I'm just gonna kind of create a little ball of moss all the way around that node. I'm gonna take my plastic wrap and just cover that moss. I'm gonna make sure I keep this moss moist too, because I don't want that drying out. And then I just secure that wrap, so I just tie it. So pretty simple, nothing fancy there, you know, just secure it so it at least kind of locks out some of the air. And this is the moss that I'm using. It's by Best Grow Sphagnum Moss. It's New Zealand sphagnum moss. So I get this on Amazon and I really like the quality of it because it's light, it's fluffy, and it's very clean. There's just less debris in here and less twigs, and I mean, you get a little bit of the fibers in there, but it's overall much cleaner compared to some of the other mosses I've tried in the past. So I top dressed the Glorious with the moss, and there's the new Caterpillar. Hopefully that unfurls without any trouble. And we've got the moss all wrapped around that very top node that was exposed. And then the Splendid, got that one top dressed, just to protect the nodes and help those root out. And then also our little air layering up there. And there's its Caterpillar. Hopefully that one will unfurl also. Okay, we're gonna pot up the Anthuriums next. It was a toss-up between going into a clear orchid pot that has the slots so it's ventilated all the way around, or putting it into terracotta. My Anthurium mix I made extra chunky, so it has a lot of pine bark in there, the coarse pumice, horticultural charcoal, worm castings, cocoa chips, but I made it so it's chunkier. So the main difference between my Anthurium mix and my climbing philodendron mix is I make this one specifically for the chunky roots of Anthuriums and also very sensitive Anthuriums like the queen. And I also use tree fern in this mix. I'm just looking around to see if I can find some fibers here of tree fern. I guess they're just all kind of loose in there, but it is very fibrous and there's some bits that kind of cling together. Oh, there we go. So that is a little ball of tree fern there. So it's just like a bunch of really fine twigs. Actually, it's almost like dried plant roots, like a ball of dried plant roots. So it's kind of spongy, but super airy, but it also holds on to moisture at the same time. So I'm just experimenting with some different substrates, and tree fern is one of them. Clarinerviums have by far the chunkiest roots I have ever seen. I'm trying to maneuver the roots around in there because they're so chunky, they're just not very flexible, so they don't really want to bend or curl around or anything in the pot. Okay, I'll just wring out that moss. And we're gonna place that all around the roots, all around the base. I like to cover just around the base of the crown. I don't really stack it in the crown at all, just around the base where the roots already are. and I can go up higher and add more as the plant grows. Okay, so we've got a top dressing of moss, and that's actually been really helpful to kind of remind me when to water, because all I have to do is see the moss or see that it's dry, and I go to touch it, and if it feels dried out and crispy, I know it's time to water that plant. And if it's still a little bit moist or a little bit damp, I know it's still getting, it's still getting humidity from down below, so it's still holding water down in the soil, and so I don't have to water. Okay, I'm gonna set the Clarinervium there, and now we're gonna move on to this adorable dorayaki hybrid. This is like literally one of the cutest anthuriums I've ever seen in my life. Look at that little bush. That is adorable. Now I've got to decide if I want to put this also in terracotta or if I want to put it into a vented orchid pot. I'm gonna use this time. There's some plants that make you so happy just looking at them, right? Like this is one of those plants for me. I absolutely love this. I love using clear pots because you can see down in there and see what's going on. All right, I'm gonna top dress that with some sphagnum moss. I just love those little diminutive type of plants, you know? Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of Super Thrive, just a couple drops. I'm just gonna give that a soak all the way around, just so I can make sure that dry soil that we potted into has enough moisture in there. Okay, so there we go. Got a nice chunky mix, and we'll see how the little dorayaki bush does. Okay, I've got a few options for a decorative pot, and sometimes I'll just let the anthurium sit exactly like that in its vented pot, and I won't put it into a decorative pot, especially if I really need that anthurium to dry out or well, not dry out, but you know, I need more oxygen flow to the roots. I'll just let it sit on my shelf exactly like that. That way the vents are all fully exposed. But you can still put it into a decorative pot if you want. And one of the things that you can do if you still want extra airflow happening is don't put it in a pot that's going to be too tight around the lip. If you put it into one that has a little bit of space between the two pots, then you still allow oxygen getting down in through those vents. So that's actually what I'm going to do for this plant. So I just look for the right size. This one could work, but once it gets down in there, it does get a little tight around the lip of both pots, so they're a little bit too close together. If I put that pot in that one, the lips are completely right next to each other. So that one would not be great if I'm trying to get extra airflow. This one is going to be the one. It's going to look a little bit funny because the plant is really little. This pot's a little bit bigger, but that's okay. I'm just going to take a little saucer. Terracotta saucer is also excellent if you're trying to utilize those air vents in the bottom, or well, air vents, drainage holes, whatever you want to call them. For anthuriums, to me, they're air vents. So if you want to still be able to allow some wicking action down there, I put it onto a terracotta pot, which can help wick excess moisture away if you need that. So I've got my terracotta saucer down in the bottom of that pot, and I get these pots at IKEA. They're like $2 and I love them. They're really nice and sleek. I like the look of these. So I'm going to set the pot on its little saucer, and it still gets plenty of air. There's like an inch or almost an inch all the way around between the two pots. So plenty of oxygen, still going to be able to get through those vents, and also at the bottom where it's sitting on the terracotta. All right guys, it's morning time right now as I'm filming this. It's a beautiful, chilly, cold morning, but it is so perfectly clear, deep blue sky, sun is shining. It is gorgeous out in the Sonoran Desert this morning. So we're gonna finish potting up the plants, and the Clarinervium I just watered this morning, so that got its first watering this morning. I just left it overnight without watering it since it had already been soaking for several days, and just wanted to give it a chance to kind of breathe before I give it more water. I also want to take a moment, even though this video is not sponsored, I just want to take a moment and thank Aroid Market for allowing me the opportunity to check them out and to experience their process and shipping and packing and everything, and their plants. Their plants are gorgeous. I will definitely be back on their website and I will be ordering from them. And also they gave a discount code for 20 uses. So it's up to 20 uses. So basically that means the first 20 people that want a 15% off discount of anything on their website, I will have that linked below. So I think my code is Christine15, but I will post that on the screen here, and I will link their website below, and I'll have my code linked down there also to use. And this code does expire, so it starts on November 13th and goes until November 22nd. So if you check out their website and you want to order something, do it fast, because once the 20 people, you know, have gone through it, then it's no longer valid. So definitely check them out there. Would recommend, love them. All right, so this little baby and its new little baby leaf, I'm gonna set on my desk for now. So I will move this over here, and we're gonna get potting up these other plants here. Okay, we're gonna pot up this one next. This is the Variegated Philodendron burle marx. I'm gonna use my philodendron climbing mix. I'm not going to give it a totem or a stake right now. I'm just going to see how it does first, like how fast it grows. I'm not sure how fast these variegated versions grow. Okay, I'm just going to leave it just like that. I'll take that to the sink and water it, but first let's go ahead and pot up the Amydrium silver. Okay, for the Amydrium silver, I'm going to put that in a terracotta pot also. Okay, let's take that out of the water and see how those roots are doing. The roots on the Amydrium silver, they actually look really good. They fared really well. I don't see any rot or anything on there. I mean, they look great. And then there's also this tiny little root coming way up here at the very top node. And then new roots have started at each of these points here. So I'm gonna be potting this a little bit deeper where all those roots are gonna be going into the soil. And I'm gonna pot this with a totem, with a cocoa husk totem, because I heard that these really like to climb. And if you don't give them something to climb, they'll produce runners. Okay, let's get that totem in there. So basically that stem is going to be right at the soil line, and that way all those new roots can go down into the soil. All right, little baby, I think you're all set. We're going to take you to the kitchen and get you watered. I already have a couple drops of the Super Thrive in here. Oh my gosh, this Amydrium silver has such a lovely glow on the leaves. Look at that, it's like it's wearing a highlighter. Just want to make sure those get enough moisture in the pot there. Look at those little variegated leaves though, so cute. Ooh, that one's like super variegated there. I love how they're all different, so beautiful. Okay, I just mixed up some more soil for our understory plants like the Aglaonema pictum tricolor and then the Alocasia dragon scale. So both of those are going to be going into this mix. For the Alocasia and the Aglaonema, I'm going to be using this soil mixture. So I've got some tree fern here. That's going to be holding moisture. And then we have pumice, the coarse grade pumice. We've got cocoa husk chips and fiber, a little bit of horticultural charcoal, and a little bit of worm castings. So my goal with this was to mimic leaf litter on the forest floor, at least using the ingredients that I have access to right now. So that was my main goal, is to make it really light and fibrous, but not so chunky with the orchid mix and orchid barks. The roots on this Aglaonema pictum tricolor are looking really good, really white and healthy. I'm going to pot it a little bit deeper, like an inch deeper, just because it does have a tall stem, so it's got a little bit of leg going on there. But I'm going to pot it a little deeper for this. I want to pot up the Alocasia next, so let's get this little baby down here. And wow, it has been putting out root growth like crazy. I cannot believe how hardy this plant is. The roots are so healthy on this too, and the rhizome's been putting out new roots all the way up here, so I can't believe how long those roots have grown. They've grown super fast. It's only been in water since, you know, just before the weekend, and the roots are already like an inch and a half, 2 inches long, all of these brand new ones. I've got a pot ready for it, and I'm gonna be putting it in this same mix. Yeah, this plant is just going crazy with its roots. I cannot believe how much growth it has already with those. I can't wait to see how this one does. Here, let me go ahead and peel that leaf off. Okay, so just watering it enough for it to drip through the drainage hole there. Oh, I gotta go outside and grab some saucers for these too. All right guys, welcome back to the plant room. It's now been 10 days since the plants came in from Aroid Market, and I wanted to do a little update with you and let you know how everybody's doing. So here's the Clarinervium. This one has not skipped a beat. It is looking gorgeous still, so no signs of distress at all. It seems to be very happy. Over here on this side, I've got the Amydrium silver and This one is just temporarily sitting here. Well, actually, all of the plants on my desk right now are temporarily sitting here because Michael and I are moving some things around. We just got a plant shelf from IKEA and we're gonna be putting that in the plant room here. So things are a little all over the place today. But yeah, the Amydrium silver is looking good. Its little growth point is still doing good, so everyone seems happy. Oh, and the Clarinervium had a new leaf there, right? So the update on that is it is still unfurling in there. So it is such a cute little baby. And then on this side, I have the other plants on my desk and everyone's doing good. This one leaf on the Glorious, I thought we might lose that, the one that came in that was yellowing. But so far it's still clinging on there. It doesn't want to let go. So everyone is still looking good. In fact, let me turn off my grow light here. Oh, I keep this on the minimum setting because it has a dimmer. So I can brighten that up if I want, but I leave it on the lowest setting. So I'll just turn that off for now while I'm filming. So back here, the Splendid is looking beautiful still. The growth tips on both of these plants are still green and healthy and looking good. Let's see this one over here. So yeah, we haven't lost those or anything at this point in time anyway. You never know, but so far so good. And the Alocasia, I am very tempted to actually do like a semi-hydro kind of situation with these plants because I feel like the way it was growing in water, it was like so happy. So I'm kind of tempted because actually one of you guys told me about your experience growing in leca. And so I'm kind of tempted. That was with your black velvet, and I might have to try that. I have not done leca yet, but I can see, oh, well, heck, I mean, I could do pumice. Maybe I'll do that, grow it in pumice. So I'm just keeping an eye on this, making sure that it doesn't have any freakouts, because you know how alocasia can be a little bit sensitive sometimes. But yeah, so far everything is looking good with the alocasia. The plant that you see back here that does have a yellowing leaf, that's actually the El Chaco. That's actually from a completely different import, but that one's acclimating back there also. And the Aglaonema pictum tricolor is looking good. It's got its growth points still intact. Everything is looking great on that plant. And I think that's everything, right? I think we covered everything. And I almost forgot this little baby here. I'll just show you guys. The little dorayaki, one of my favorites that came in. Oh my goodness, I love this little baby. It is so sweet. I have this up on my shelf. It is doing beautifully. It's probably, let's see, is it time for a water? Yeah, I could give that one another drizzle of water today. But yeah, everything is doing beautifully on that little baby. It is so darn cute. That's one of my favorites for sure. Oh my gosh, I have a thing for anthuriums. I love them. Like, they just spark so much joy in my heart. I just love anthuriums. Oh, and the velvet leaf philodendrons. Oh my goodness. Those are like my favorites. Those are my absolute favorites. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me in this video. I always have fun doing plant projects with you. This was kind of a marathon repot, but I figured I would just share everything with you. And I'm gonna get started on the next video. And also, oh, don't forget to check out Aroid Market. I'll have their link in the description box to their website, and I'll have the code in the description box also. So if you do want to order plants, it's a really good time to do that. And don't forget, the code does have an expiration, so if you want to order from them, definitely get your order in early. They do sell out of some of their popular plants too. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I love you. Have an awesome day, and I'm going to start working on the next video, and I will see you then. Bye.